This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, last time when we went through the session, we were more focused on why Python and what Python does and how flexible Python was.
Yeah.
But those things are done. So we got to know the basics of Python, like when was Python started, why people are using Python, how flexible is it, and what we can do with Python. What are the multiple modules which are trend in the market and which are very easy to be understanding.
Yep.
So now we will see why when Python started off, they started with the basic version, and then in 2000s, Python 2 was the most available version of the Python. Now it is Python 3.8. If you go to the python.org website, the latest version is Python 3.8, and the stable version is Python 3.7.4.
Okay.
So what is the difference between Python 2 and 3? Is there any? If it is so, how is it? And what is the major differences that you see between these two? Specifically why we are learning the difference between Python 2 and 3. Even last time I told you, like few organizations, they are still using in Solaris server or Unix servers, Linux, such kind of things. So what
Okay.
will happen? They cannot be compatible with the latest version of Python.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what
We
will
understand.
happen? There might be few, because of the coding version changes in Python as a language itself. What are available in Python 3 might not be available in Python 2.
Okay.
But what is available in Python 2 will always be available in Python 3. So as we are progressing, those will be already there and they'll add on to it. But what is available in 3, they will not code for Python 2 compatibility. You got the point, right?
Yeah. It's always the
So
case, right?
yeah,
Whenever we
correct.
can go a better version, it always contains the older version components in
Correct.
it. In the better version, there might be extra components or something coming out of like settings and everything. Yeah. So we'll be
Correct.
always, yeah.
So what has happened and how it is? So Python 2 was the most popular version, and if you ask me specifically, Python 2.5.3. Even my organization has that on the server right now. And sometimes I code it according to it.
Okay.
Even though in my local Windows, I have the 3 version. When I put it onto the server, I make few tiny changes on the server so that the program runs. So
Okay.
that is a legacy version, and this is Python 3 is the future version. And if you see all the modules like Panda or Spark or PySpark or Selenium, which are in the market right now, those will be more compatible with Python 3. Okay.
Okay.
And as I told you, the libraries which are available currently, those might not be compatible with Python 2. Those might be compatible with Python 3 only. Okay. And in Python 2, strings were stored as ASCII characters by default.
Okay.
But in Python 3, directly they will be coded as Unicode. This compatibility issues will come majorly when it is Unicode and DOS. If you
Okay.
save a particular text file in a different format, while loading the data into tables or something, it might cause trouble sometimes. It will tell the data is not in Unicode format, the data is in UTF-8, UTF-12, such kind of things.
Okay.
You might have faced at any point in time. When you're playing with database, especially, you will face such kind of situations.
Yeah.
So previously in Python 2, it was more into ASCII characters, but now it will support the Unicode characters, and it is very easy now. It is not that difficult, and if you want to change the format of the text, you can write it in a single line also. I'll show you once we progress into the coding.
Okay.
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 And previously in Python 2, when you divide a particular number 5 by 2 or something,
Yeah.
it will give you the answer as 2. It will not give you 2.5. 3 by
Okay.
2 used to say as 1, not as 1.5. But Python 3, they have made the changes. Now if you put a 5 by 2, it will give you 2.5.
So is it like only 1 decimal or it goes on like, is it
No,
there
no,
any
no.
way to do it?
It'll give you any decimal now. But previously it was just taking the number, not the remainder at the end of it.
The absolute, okay. But previously it's just the absolute number. Now it's
Correct.
like the decimal numbers. Okay.
Yeah, correct. And one of the major change, if anyone will tell you, Python 2, Python 3, print statement. Previously, Python print used to be like without any braces, like this. I can show you. Can you see my screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can see.
Print, there won't be any caps. Python 2 used to be like this. But in Python 3, you have to give in braces, put the text, whatever you want to write like this. So
Okay.
this was the major change. This one.
Okay.
This one and the division part, these two are the major changes in Python 2 and Python 3. Rest all is similar and some module libraries might not support. So
Okay.
if you just want to download any library, you can just Google in python.org or the specific website to that library. It will tell
Okay.
which version of Python it is compatible with. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I see some other guys joined as well other than Anita. May I know who is it? Okay, some caller one. Okay, fine. We'll continue. Pawan, you want to share your screen? We'll launch the Anaconda program on your machine so that you can run this codes when I give it to you.
It's grayed out on my machine. I
Okay.
can't share my screen.
Okay.
To share your screen, ask the organizer to make you presenter.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me check. I stopped my sharing. Let's see where it is. Okay, did you get any option right now?
Just a second.
Beside this mic button, there is a screen button, right?
Yeah. I'm just like cleaning my desktop. Just sorry.
Okay, no problem. Take your time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I still can't share.
Okay, 1 minute.
I think.
Participants. Okay, I have done it now.
Oh yes, I can. Yeah. Can you look at my screen?
Not yet. Yeah, I can see it now. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So yeah. What?
Okay, go and type in Anaconda prompt you can launch actually. Okay, then you
Yeah.
can type in Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter
G
space notebook. JUPYTER space
space notebook.
notebook. NOTEBOOK. No, without any space of note and book.
Okay. Enter.
Yeah, that's it. Previously, these used to be called as IPNB notebooks, IPython
Okay.
notebooks.
Okay.
But once Anaconda has brought in this, those have renamed to be Jupyter Notebook. I don't know
Okay.
why they have named it as Jupyter Notebook, but it is called Jupyter Notebook. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so here on the top you can see this new button, right? After files and running, there is a new button, upload new.
Yes.
Yeah, click
Got
on
it.
new. You can click on Python 3. Python 3.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the notebook where you can write your first program. You can write in print, put in braces and double quotes. Write anything, hello world or whatever you want. Okay. So, okay, one good thing. Now you have made one mistake over here. Run the program. I'll tell you why Jupyter notebooks are good. Run it. Okay. Generally, what is the mistake, right? If you go by PIP 8 standards, you should not give a space over there.
Between print and
Correct. So,
braces.
correct. So what has happened now? It has returned you hello world, but if you go by PIP 8 standards, if you can Google it, PIP 8 standards. You
Okay.
can Google it now. Beside tab.
PIP
8, number 8.
Okay.
Standards.
Cool.
So this will be the standards of writing a Python program. Come back to Jupyter Notebook. You can read it whenever you have time.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Now write print statement without the brackets. Without the brackets.
Oh, okay. So this is like a mirror thing. If I put open braces, it automatically opens the close
Yes.
brackets. Okay.
Correct. No, it happens only in Anaconda. It doesn't happen in the pure Python command prompt to launch, it won't happen. If you write it in Notepad, it won't happen.
Okay.
This is the magic of the Anaconda prompt and the Jupyter Notebook. It helps you in writing.
Okay.
Very good idea, I would say. Run it.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah.
So what was there? I told you in Python 2 it used to support without brackets.
Yeah.
But in Python 3 it does not support it. So it is very clear. Very simple program you have written, print hello world. You did not write the brackets. So what it is telling, invalid syntax.
Yep.
So this, especially Anaconda Jupyter Notebook, it is very convenient. It will tell you which line did you do the mistake. You see file input line 1. It is telling you print. It is showing a above arrow mark below. You see that you missed the brackets. Invalid syntax.
Okay.
So this why I prefer Jupyter Notebook for learning as a basic learner. It gives you easy tips how to do it.
It helps us
Okay.
in coding basically.
Understanding. Yes, correct. It guides you indirectly.
Okay.
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 To run, you were using this run button, right? Instead of
Yep.
using run button, you can do shift enter also. You can go to the above program and use shift enter.
Oh, just okay. That's one.
Shift enter.
Okay. Yeah, I did it. Yeah.
It ran, right? So
Yeah.
now if you see beside this program, there is something called as IN3, IN4, right?
Yeah, this one.
IN3,
Yeah.
yeah,
This
correct.
I was thinking those are like inputs.
Correct. So now in the next line, you write just number 1 and run it.
Over here.
No. In the cell only. In the cell. Yeah.
One.
Write 1, run it. So it is 5 now.
Okay.
You run anything else in the next line, write 2 and run it. So you see, once you run the program, it will tell you which was the cell which you have run in which sequence.
Okay.
You got it? This might be a 250 line notebook that you have coded. You might have had some 3-4 very big programs in it, but it will tell you what is the sequence that you have run it.
Okay.
You might have coded the 6th line, but you would have gone to the print hello world and you could have run it next time. So it will tell you the 7 in the above line. You get the point, right? You can run that line 3 again once on the top. So You see, it is 7 now.
Okay.
So
So
when
can I
yeah,
like see the input 1 which I gave?
no, that is gone because you have run the same thing again. Now input 3 was there in this one. You have run that program again.
Yeah.
Now 3 has gone and 7 has come up.
Okay, so if I make any changes to 7 and then run it, it'll be an 8, but I can't see the previous version of the code which I ran.
Correct. So to avoid such kind of things, what you should do, write the program in line 1. And you want to make any changes, copy it, put it in the below cell and run
Okay.
it again. So it will become 2. Instead of replacing 1, you can write it in second line. You can
Okay.
make how many ever lines you want to. It doesn't stop you in that.
Okay.
Or you can open a new Jupyter notebook. You can start writing a new code over there. You can start editing a new code over there. You get the point. Go to this home page again. Home page. The beside one. The beside one.
Okay. Okay.
Page
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Go to new button. Click on Python 3 again. It will open you a new Python notebook.
Okay.
So you see, you can run this one. Okay, I'll make you comfortable with a Jupyter notebook now. Okay, on the top there is Jupyter symbol, right? On beside that there is
Yes.
untitled one.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, you can rename it to whatever you want to. You can put it as test one, practice one, or whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay, you can confirm on rename. Okay,
Yeah.
this file button you can navigate
Yeah.
to it. So you want a new notebook, open, make a copy, save as, whatever. It is just like a Windows Word document or whatever you want to. Okay.
Okay.
Then edit button.
So if I download it as like .py or anything,
Yes.
so
Dude,
how can I
write. I
open
would
it?
say, okay, write a print statement in the first line and write something. Print hello world. You can write. Run it. Okay. Go file, save it as, download as,
Save as,
py.
right? I
It
should
doesn't
save.
matter.
Doesn't
It's
matter.
okay. It is already saved. Python.py. Okay. Can you go to that folder where that is saved?
Okay.
You can just click on the below button. This type of file can harm your computer.
It's just
Warning.
keep.
Okay. Okay. Don't open it. Just go to where it is downloaded first of all. Click on that arrow. It'll navigate. Might be most probably in downloads.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Test case 1.py. You have it here at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right click on it. You have any text notepad or notepad plus? You have it?
I don't have Notepad plus.
Okay, let's go to Google. Let's download Notepad plus. I'll make you learn there only. Don't open it. Escape you can do.
Okay.
Notepad plus you can just Google it.
Okay, I'll download it. So we can basically open it in Notepad plus plus. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Okay, then you are aware about it. No problem for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then go to edit button.
Okay.
Okay. So you can cut a cell, copy a cell, delete a cell, split a cell, merge a cell, everything you can do. Okay. The shortcuts I'll tell you. Come back to the cell below hello world. Okay.
Okay.
Go to the you have selected this, right? Go to edit cell. Edit button.
Okay.
Cut cell. You can do cut cell.
Okay.
You got it. It is gone now. Now what you see? Copy cell.
Okay.
Select one of the cell and click on
So basically each cell. So this input one doesn't change.
Correct, because you have not run the program. You have just copied the program.
Okay.
So once you run it, it will change it to 2.
Okay. So it's just saying that I have copied my same program into multiple cells.
Correct. So I'll tell you a computer shortcut. Click on escape button.
Okay.
Press B.
B.
B. Okay. Escape. Don't write anything. Escape. You just gray out. One more time.
I
Okay, then press B button now.
okay,
One more
blank
time.
cell.
Yeah, you want to insert a cell, that is the easiest shortcut. Because
Okay.
once you are very familiar into coding and all, you won't go and hit the edit button and do it. It's one of very easy thing.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to remove any cell, right click on a particular cell. You might get the cut cell option. You're not getting it?
No.
Okay, then they have edited. You can go back and edit the cell over there, remove the cell.
Okay.
Or else you have this button, right? There is a scissors mark over here. Below it, scissors.
Yeah, here.
You can use it.
Okay. Okay.
You got it, right?
Yeah.
So view.
Okay.
This is that toggle header, line number and all. Let's click on one of the thing.
Toggle header.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The header has gone. Put back the header.
This is basically yeah. This is like just
You
the
got it, right?
yeah. It's
So-
in every software we'll be having that what kind of options we want to see in it on our screen. Yeah. That's
So
fine.
to make you acquainted with it, okay, there is one important button here, kernel.
Yeah,
Kernel.
insert cell, okay, run cell, okay. So these are basically selecting a cell and then running that one, okay.
Correct.
Yeah,
But
kernel.
very important one is kernel. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to the other sheet where you have 3-4 lines of code. Untitled you can go to. Untitled.
Okay, give me a second.
Here only, beside that pipette standards.
This one, right?
Next one.
Okay. This one, okay.
Okay.
Kernel.
So now, wait. You see the number 7, 4, 5, 6, everything, right?
Yes.
I mean the input. Okay. Now click on restart and clear all output.
Restart and clear.
Yes. So what has happened? Entire code will be kernel. It is called as a kernel. The program, if you go to that black color windows at the bottom of your page, where we launched the Jupyter notebook, at the bottom there are multiple this things right beside Notepad. Bottom on your taskbar. Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. Click on that. So this browser page at the back end is being launched using this kernel. Once you restarted it, if you see at 2024:48, it restored your kernel. It restarted your kernel at 24:47. You got it?
Okay. Yeah.
So when
Okay.
you restarted the kernel, it entirely cleared the output because you selected the option of restart and clear the output, right? If you would
Okay.
have clicked on restart, it would have just restarted. It will not clear your output. So you have multiple options. Let's go back to Jupyter Notebook.
Okay.
Why we do this restart of kernel? What will happen? Sometimes you would have had some very big code and you would have written, suppose, a while statement. While
Okay.
statement is one of the critical statement wherein you write a code.
Okay.
If you go into infinite loop, it will not break. It will
Okay.
continuously. To break a while loop, you can use this restart of kernel or shutdown of kernel.
So it's basically when your system starts, you just shut down and restart. It's the same way,
Correct.
right?
Simple way, right? But to save your program, if you turn off your computer, might be you lose your Python file.
Yeah.
But instead of that, you can restart it.
Okay. It's just
Among
restarting this particular kernel and then saving it, clearing it, or doing like all kinds
Yes,
of different
correct.
stuff.
So
Okay.
most important button is this one among all those. The rest all you
Okay.
will get acquainted. Okay.
Okay.
Fine.
So in
Let's-
Teradata, we used to have this temporary tables.
Okay.
So if so, let's say if we want to use for that particular session, we can open like a number of temporary tables, and then if we want to delete all those temporary tables, right? If we just close the session, it will delete all the temporary tables.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it will stay till only on that particular session. So is there any concept over here like creating any temporary things and then removing it after our session closes?
No, nothing as such. This notebooks, whatever you are open, you can open how many ever notebooks you want. Right now, if you see, you have opened this untitled notebook, and there is a test case one notebook as well.
Yep.
Basing on your RAM and your machine speed, you can keep as many notebooks open as well. It doesn't matter to it. But
Okay.
when your program goes into some infinite mode of loop, to stop it,
Okay.
you can use it.
Okay.
That's the thing. Okay, let me get back the sharing of my screen, and then I'll show you. I see some Nagaraju joining the session. Hi, Nagaraj.
Yeah, hi, I'm Nagraj.
Okay, okay. So you are just starting off with the Python session with us?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So you have joined sometime back, or I just noticed you join?
No, I just joined in between. So before I was joining on the phone call, I was just listening what.
Okay, okay, fine. So you are comfortable, right? You are understanding what you are just going through.
No, actually, but
Okay. Anyways, the session is recorded. You will be sharing you the recorded session. You can just go through at your convenience. Okay. So let me open this. So for any program, Pawan,
Yeah.
there are Boolean operators wherein 0 and 1. There are
Yeah. Okay.
strings, there are
Okay.
numbers,
Okay.
and there are multi-line strings. And how
Okay.
to handle this? So for any program, either you write a number or you write an alphabet or you write a true false, right? So
Yep.
those are the basic data types, I would say, to handle in any programming language. You should
True.
start with this, and once you know this, you can write any program.
Okay.
So let's see this. This is a Boolean operator. I am defining A is equal to true, B is
Okay.
equal to false. And then I'm
Okay.
saying print A and print B.
Okay.
And then I'm writing stars. Okay.
Okay.
What if I put the stars without double quotes?
You will be getting an error, right?
Correct. So I just want to make you get acquainted with it. Okay. Then I write print boolean of 0, boolean of 1, boolean of 2, and then I see print C. Let's run this program and see what value we will get. Okay.
Okay.
As you suggested, this print statement throwed me an error. So actually, this could have given me the answer for A and B, but it did not do. When I ran the program, it compiled the entire program and it throwed me the error, this one first. It is telling you go this, fix this error and come back. It is at line number 11. If you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It is at the 11th line, right? So just go back and put this double quotes and then come back, run it. So let's see. A is coming as true because of this print statement. This print B is coming as false because as we defined it. Then the
Okay.
stars just to demarcate convenience. And then
Okay.
boolean of 0, it is telling as false. So in Python, if you say boolean of 0, it is false. Boolean of 1 to any number, 100 also,
It's true.
yes.
Okay.
So boolean of 100, it is true. Then C, I did not define anything and I'm printing C. Okay. I don't know where is this C button here, right? I don't know where is this print statement because there are many print true false statements. So I can customize my print statement. So like this, I can go here, put okay, let me run it. So this print statement, when I print a blank C, it is telling it is false. So this is customizing a print statement. You
Okay.
understood?
So the
So
Boolean C, right? It's referring to that particular blank C, and then it's giving us false.
yes, good question. I was about to explain you that, Nick. Okay,
Okay.
you are confused. Your question is now, okay, this is a blank C
Yeah.
and this is somewhere I'm printing it.
Yeah.
And then I'm writing C is equal to some value, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm printing Boolean of C. So
Yeah.
when it came to this print, it told me it is false. But when it went to this print, it is telling true, correct?
Yeah.
So let's see. So here it has changed to true. So you should be always careful when defining a particular variable. I might write a is equal to 1. After 100 lines of code, I forgot. I'm defining a is equal to 100. Okay. So
Okay.
what will happen? Until this line 99, it will read a as 1 only. But once it comes over here, it will change a to 100. Okay. So
Okay.
you print a here. You print a here. Let's see the answer. Until here, when it until here,
So, so this doesn't throw you an error saying that you have already used variable A, and then it's like we have
no,
to. It's like it's
no,
represented in two ways.
no, it won't throw you any error. It will understand on its own. Okay, this fellow has defined first a is equal to 1. He is changing a is equal to 100. That is not my problem. It is his headache. I'll change it to 1.
Okay.
So you should be very careful in using a variable. Okay.
Mm. Is there any other way
So
we could find out? Because sometimes we tend to forget our variables, right?
so I would say make a habit of not using a variable again.
Okay.
No, there is no option. Any programming language, if you define a variable and use the same variable again, it will get
Yeah.
overwritten. It will not throw
Okay.
you any error.
Okay.
So there are many rules for defining a variables.
Okay.
We are going to that. Actually, your questions are very right. You are leading me to take me to the next step. So there
Okay.
are rules for defining a variable.
Okay.
There are few reserved keywords in Python. You should
Okay.
not use these keywords. You should not
Yeah.
write and is equal to 1 or is equal to 2. No, you should not do those.
Yeah.
So these variables never used to define them. Okay,
Okay.
don't write a while statement and say it is 100. That is not
Yeah.
the way. While statement is right to write a while loop. First statement is to write a defined loop. Okay, break is to break. So never
Okay.
use this. And these are some of the rules. Like start with letter or underscore. In Python, I told you pipette standards, right? So if you go to any programming tomorrow in any organization, before submitting your code to production, you should show what is your PyLint score. PyLint. And PyLint follows pipette standards. So
Okay.
you should be very careful about it, and you should always follow the standard. Start with a letter or underscore. Don't start with a number. You don't write 1 is equal to 1. Python will consider it, but you should not define it. Variable name can contain letters, numbers, and underscore. You can write a underscore 1 is equal to something, but don't write 1 underscore a. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't
Got it.
include special character in variable names. Like
Like
you
hate
might feel okay,
exclamations. Yeah.
like a at the rate, something like that. You don't
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not right.
Yeah.
So you should follow a few basic standards.
Yeah.
And then let's see this. let's cut this. Okay, so I'm importing some module called keyword, right?
Can I know like what are the words in Python like print, import? How many kinds of those variables are there? Like
Okay,
we are using them, but I don't know like the whole list of uh, that those kind of words that
good point.
that we have in Python. Yeah.
I agree. So these are the main basic keywords
Yeah.
which are there.
Yeah.
Once we go through the entire programming, I'm
Okay.
bet you will know every of the word, why it
Okay.
is used.
Okay. So
You will,
these are
by
the whole
40
list.
seconds, you will know everything. Yes.
Okay. This is the whole list of keywords that we'll be
These are
having
the,
it.
yes, these are the reserved keywords. Never touch those or never change those. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm importing some keyword. I'm
Okay.
printing it. So these are the keywords. You can see my entire screen, or it is blocking on the right side.
No. I can see it. A false, none, true, and as,
Okay.
asset, async.
Correct. So these are all the keywords. So the same keywords which we see over here. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the list of keywords which are already there in Python. Don't play with this. How to get this? This is one of the statement. Okay. And as I
Okay.
explained you, never define variables like this. A is equal to B is equal to C is equal to 10. Print A, print B, print C. You can do it. Nothing is wrong. If you run this, it will give you 10, 10, 10 for everything. But no, don't define like this. This is not a right way to define. I would say write separately. A is equal to 10.
This is like the Pipette standards, or just
Yeah, it is one of the standard,
best
but
practices to do.
best practices I would say, but all the standards will lead to Pipette only.
Okay.
So define like this. Don't define in a single like this. It will give you the answer. If you define A is equal to B is equal to C is equal to 10, it works, as I showed you some time back.
Okay.
It'll work. But don't.
Sorry for all these doubts. I got another doubt. Let's say if you give A is equals to B is equals to C is equals to 10, and then right bottom that after that line, if you say like B is equals to 100, so
We'll do it.
if you run it, so which B it will take, the first one or the second one?
You tell me.
I'm guessing the second one.
Obviously, you have overwritten B, right?
Okay. So it
Once
doesn't
this line is
matter if
over, correct. Once this line is over, you write B is equal to Abhishek. It will change it to a string. Simple.
so whatever it will just take the above variable from the print. That's it.
Correct. So it is a compiling program, right? So what it will do, first it will read line number 1. It will go to line number 2. It will go through line number 3. If there is any error in line number 2, it will throw you error right away here. Or else
Okay.
if there is no error, it will continue. Line 3, line 4. Okay, first line you defined A is equal to 1. Second line you are changing A is equal to Sachin Tendulkar. So it will forget 1. That's it. It will overwrite Sachin Tendulkar into variable. And it will change from number type to string type also automatically.
Okay.
So like this. A is equal, X is equal to Y is equal to Z. You can define like this, but don't do it, I would say. Okay.
Okay.
Then let's go. Okay, I'll stop the session in 5 minutes because I have to get ready to the office, as I told you. We will continue again tomorrow. You are okay with Saturday, Sunday also, Pawan?
Actually, I was gonna ask you if we both are there, can we like do something like longer sessions on Saturday and Sunday, and then yeah,
That would be great for me, man. Seriously.
yeah. So if I don't know, there are like few other people joined, right?
Yeah,
I'm
correct.
not sure about yeah. Guys, so,
Actually, Nagaraju,
Yeah, for me
hello.
also Saturday will work. Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, you're okay, right? Okay. So let's just speak to Kumar. I think you might also speak. Just speak with Kumar. Just ask him whether you guys are comfortable. If you and Pawan, if Nagaraju and Pawan both are fine, then we can schedule a session like more hours or Saturday and Sunday, and some weekday we can cut it down as basing on our requirements.
Sure.
Okay.
We can always practice on weekdays, and then we can just come back
Correct.
on Saturday and Sunday, and then yeah, we could all ask our doubts, and then yeah, you could.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So until now, I was showing you defining a number, right? A is equal
Yeah.
to 10, B is equal to 10. So how
Yeah.
to define a string? As I showed you sometime back with Abhishek, A is equal to NYC, B is
Okay.
equal to NYC. What is this print statement going to give you?
NYC.
Wonderful. This one, you are writing A is equal to 1 to 3. What is this print statement going to give you?
1, 2, 3.
Wonderful. This B?
Nothing. Sorry. NYC.
Good. Okay. Now what is B?
4, 5, 6.
Okay. Now what is D here? What is it getting overwritten to?
C, right? Then NYC, but it's in single quotes, right? It does it.
Good question.
It's supposed to be in double quotes, I guess, right?
Good question. I'll tell you. Okay.
Since it's a string, I think it should be in double quotes. Yeah.
Okay. What is this print statement going to be?
Print
What is
C.
this?
So the print C equal to D, it should probably give as true, and then print D C is like saying that if D is C, then it should say true, I guess.
Okay. Let's run and see what you will get the answers.
Okay.
Okay. So first one you said it is NYC, correct?
Yeah.
Second one 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Third one NYC, correct?
Yeah.
Fourth one 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Then NYC. D is equal to C. I'm writing it to NYC. There is no print statement here. C is equal to D. It is giving you a true.
Yeah.
And then D is C. This is kind of a keyword printing over here again. So you are
Okay.
checking whether it is equal to or not.
Yeah.
You get the point, right? So it gave you D.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are just like some expressions that we are like making if it's true or not.
So here, Pawan, your
Yeah.
question of writing a string, defining a string within a double quote or a single quote, you can define with anything. Like A is equal to Sachin Tendulkar. Define it within double quote, no problem. B is equal to Virat Kohli. Write it in single quotes.
So it doesn't matter if I give double or single quotes.
Correct. But don't define something like this. Start with a double quote, single quote,
and then end with a double quote. Okay.
Yes. Don't do like this.
Okay. So another doubt. Sorry. What if I give codes to numbers? Does it take it as like string or a numeric?
It is a string once you define within a double quote.
Okay. Whatever it is, it may be a number, a special character, or anything.
Correct.
If I give like those keywords, let's say like C is equals to double quotes while, does it take it?
Don't do it. It will take it as a string only, but don't do it.
Oh yeah, but we won't do it. But whatever we give in double quotes, it's gonna take it as a string.
You write anything in a double quote, it is going to be a string, and it is going to be hard code.
Okay. Yep, got it.
So Pawan, we'll end the session. I'm running late.
Sure.
We will continue tomorrow, same time.
Sure.
Yeah, chalo.
Yeah, sure.
Chalo, Pawan. Thank you. Bye.
This conference will now be recorded.